Okay, here we go. Um, this is our features rewritten phase 1 melee walkthrough. This is not a full guide, this is just a melee walkthrough. So I'm going to walk through what you have to think about as a melee DPS for this. There's a whole lot of details that other roles have to think about that we're just not going to go over because that's not our job. Normally I have music in the background, but the sounds are actually really useful for this. So I'm going to keep the normal sounds from the recording. Here we go. I'm using NAUR strats, which right now is fixed tethers and roll parties, but we'll go over that. So first things first, I am melee 2. And basically the fight starts out, we're just going to go to our clock position, which is going to be 3. And the boss is gonna, this is kind of the theme of the boss, is either fire or lightning or red and blue. You're gonna look at the boss, and the boss is either going to be on fire, maybe make that red, on fire, or he's gonna be covered in lightning. If it's fire, it means you stack with your buddy. If it's lightning, it means you're going to spread. For us as melee DPS, it means we're not doing anything different. The support is going to do something different. So we're all in our clocks. And you can see that there's cones that come out. The cones target the players, and then because it's stack, we're just gonna move clockwise because we're DPS, and our support's gonna move counterclockwise, and we're going to stack together right here for 2-person stack. If it was lightning, then the support would just go this way, and we would do nothing different. So as DPS, you don't even have to think, you just have to move clockwise. And then you just go back and forth a few times, because the cones from the boss are just going to repeat, I think it's total 4 times. Just go back and forth until he stops. All right, so this is what it looks like when he's going lightning. So this tell is going to be for the next mechanic, but you have to kind of remember, the first few pulls I did in this, I forgot to look at the boss, and then I'd be like, wait, was it stack or was it spread? This is a good example because the boss is has a lightning going all around him. So this next mechanic we're going to spread, which is the, I guess you can call it harder mechanic than stack, but it's good to have on video. But he's going to finish this cast, and then he's going to become untargetable. And here, everyone's just going to walk straight out from their clock. So again, our clock is 3, so we're just going to walk straight back. This ad that we're looking at, you can only see it when you're close to him. So everyone else has an ad that only they can see as well. What we need to do is we need to pay attention to the ad's arm. If it's down, we don't do anything. We stay where we are. If his arm is up, then we're going to move up. Okay? And also, we're going to take a look at our partner who's across. So this person that's across from us, if they move forward, then we move forward. And the whole point of this is to find 2 people that are across from each other that did not move forward. So again, if your guys' arm moves up, you move up. If your partner moves up, you move up. If none of that happens, you stay. Let's see what happens this pull. Okay, so we saw that my partner moved up, so I'm moving up. Okay, and we saw at a glance there that east-west did not move up, so that's going to be the safe spots. And we're gonna look here. All right, so because he was showing lightning, and he's still showing lightning right here, that means that this was spread, right? We took note of that before he went untargetable. These are the spread positions. If you're melee, you're always gonna go on the left, and you can see, like, you can count like these little crystals. I always think like it's 3.5 crystals, or you can see this line that's going here as the melee. I always think like I'm on the middle where that line is kind of leading. Okay, so you see these, there's these two crystals, and I'm in the middle between them where this line went. It's once you see it, like it looks like it's a tight fit and it's hard to do. It's really easy. Just use the lines on the ground. Okay, after the stack are spread there, then just go back to your clock and you're gonna do another cone thing. This is exactly the same as the first mechanic. So now it's spread. We don't do anything different. But now there's more things to look at, okay? So as we're doing our back and forth between the cones, we need to do two things. So one, and this is gonna be, a few things are gonna be the same every pull and a few things are gonna be different. So on the west side, there's always gonna be a lightning. Now, what this ad is gonna do is it's gonna shoot a beam through the middle, and then the beam is going to explode outwards because it's lightning. So all this is going to be unsafe. So if we're melee 2, which means we're light party 2, we're just going to move south. Okay? If you were melee 1, you would kind of weave your way in and go north. That is always going to be lightning. Okay? The other thing that we're looking at is for the next mechanic after this. And that's going to be this ad behind the middle. This one is either going to be fire or lightning. Whatever element he is not is the safe one. So because he's red, blue is going to be safe in the next mechanic. So when I'm doing this, I'm always, as I'm dodging, I just think go south because I'm melee 2. And I'm already looking and I literally say out loud, blue is safe or red is safe. But in this case, it's blue is safe. So I'm literally saying out loud in my room, blue is safe, blue is safe. So let's look. So we just work our way south. And there's that big beam through the middle that I spoke about. Now there's a few things else going on here. So because we said blue is safe, you can see how if we cut this down the middle, the east side is blue. Okay, don't care about the middle ones, care about these 3 ones. So blue side is safe. All of the, and there's going to be tethers, I'm going to talk about that too. But by default, all of the supports are going to go north and all the DPS are going to go south. Unless you're a tether, and unless one other thing we're going to talk about. So if you're a tether, then one tether is going to be shorter, which is this one, and one tether is going to be longer, which is this one. The short tether always goes south. The long tether always goes north no matter what. And we'll talk about flexing in a second, but let's just take a look at that. Okay. So we have the DPS south, the supports north, short tether south, long tether north. And we're just going to hang out around these markers here. Because now this north one, this north ad, he's always going to be fire, which is a knockback. So he's going to do a laser down the line, and then there's going to be a knockback coming from the center of that laser. The knockback's going to shoot us this way. So all we got to do is wait for the laser, then we're going to move toward the center and get knocked back. Okay, and this is where the blue safe comes in. The red that is on the other side that is not safe, they expand and explode and we would die. But because blue is not the color, which means blue is safe, these are going to explode but not expand. So we have like this room in here that we can not get blown up in. And then the tethers turn into 4-person stacks. If there's less than 4 people, you're going to get a massive damage down and you're not going to make the damage check. Let's talk about, if you're melee 2, that's all you have to worry about. If you're melee 1, you might have to flex. So let's move backwards a second. Okay. So if you're melee 1, then it's your job to flex if needed. And to do that, it's all about the tethers. So if to simplify this, we have the 4 supports right here, right? 2 tanks and 2 healers. And the tethers you can see with these markers. Let me switch my color. Let's go yellow. So these prey markers here, you're going to have to look at your party list. And if both prey markers are on supports, then the melee 1 would have to go to the north stack instead of the south. And that's all it is. And even when I'm melee 2, I am making the mental note to check every time because I'm in Party Finder, and a lot of times I have to be melee 1. So even though I'm melee 2, I always check and just make it a habit to look. So if you're melee 1, if both prey markers are on supports, you move north instead of south. It sounds like a lot. It's really easy. You got time to move. Let's watch that again. Wait for the laser, then go in. Then go in, knock back, and then take the stack. Cool. Alright, and now comes the hardest part of the whole fight. This whole phase isn't bad at all, except for this mechanic, FOF, Follow Faith. So you can see we are in a conga line. We're a little bit out of order right now. We're going to wait for it. Okay. Why are we out of... We're a little out of order, but my side is fine. So, generally speaking, the order is going to be... it's going to be a tank, starting from the middle. The middle is going to be tanks. Then after that is going to be us, the melee DPS. After that is going to be the healer. And after that is going to be the range DPS. Now, he's going to there's going to be 4 different tethers. The first one's going to be from the boss, and the other 3 are going to be from untargetable ads in the north. The tether is going to be either fire or lightning, and you can tell by both the color of the tether and the sound. That's why I kept the original sound for this video, because for me, there, especially when he's fire, like there's a lot of fire and there's a lot of visual clutter. It can be kind of hard to see the tether sometimes, but you can hear the sounds because there's a particular sound for fire tether and a particular sound for lightning tether. And it's important to know what kind it is because both of them are going to be resolved differently. So if I were to draw a picture, so let's say, here's the boss, right? Let's say a fire tether is right here. We're going to need the other 3 people on each side, 1, 2, 3, to be on the left of it because the fire tether is going to make a big cone and it needs to be hit by 3 people. Okay. If it's a lightning tether, then it has to be a spread. My visuals probably aren't working very well. Let me pull up the document. So right here is the guide for it. So if we look here, basically, I'm not going to read all of this, but basically, on the left is an example of the fire tether, okay? So here, this person has the fire tether. So that means that there needs to be 3 people that get hit by this cone, okay? And then the middle person here has a lightning tether, which means the 3 closest people are going to get hit by a cone that you don't stack for. So the fire tether you stack, just like the other mechanics. The lightning tether you spread, just like the other mechanics. And you can see that there's 3 people spread here, so they don't hit the other group. That's why when you're setting this up, you need to figure out who's going where and what order the tethers are in. So if we look here in this example, that's where the conga comes in. And this is mostly for lightning tethers. So you want to know who's going to go north and who's going to go south for the lightning tether. What I mean by that is these people. Who's going to go north and who's going to go south? Because you might not have a lot of time to adjust. It might be fire than lightning or lightning than fire. So the way you figure that out is if we look at this example of the conga line, whoever's closest to the side when everything is done, they're going to be north. Okay, so this person's closest to the side and they don't have a tether, so they're going to be north. And the second person, this person, is going to be south. Okay, so if we look at the next few things, that's how they worked that out. And then we have to talk about the actual tethers. Tethers, as demonstrated here, the first tether is going to go west. Second tether is going to go east. Third tether, west. Fourth tether, east. And they're going to fill in that direction. So if we think about that and go back to this example that we were using. First tether came out. So where are they? They're right here. First tether came out. So they're going to go west. Okay. And we'll watch them. Second tether came out, and it's lightning, and you heard the sound, right? So the second tether is lightning, who's here. So they're going to go east. Change my color there. Third tether came out, and that's lightning. So they're going to go west. Fourth tether came out. They're right here. They're going to go east. Now, the two tether people, they're either going to be closest to the boss or a step away from the boss. So they're always going to be middle. So if we look at this example, all four tethers are out, and I can look at where the conga line is. There's 4 people left without a tether. So there's a DPS over here, there's me over here, healer over here, DPS over here. So I'm actually second on the left of this because these 2 people are all they need to fill this group because we need 4 people on each side. So that means I am going to be on the south of the west group, although it is fire first. So first I'm going to stack. So I move, and now because this is fire, all 3 people are over here, and all 3 people are over here, and there's just going to be a big cone that all 3 of us have to share. Cool. And now we have lightning. So lightning is in the center, the other tether person's in the middle, and because I was the second in line in the conga, I'm going to be south. The person who is first in line in the conga is going to be north. And this mechanic is going to be the wall in Party Finder. This takes a long time when you have a fresh group. You'll probably get here pretty quick because everything before this is pretty straightforward. Just looking at all the positions and everything for this, the first time coming in, and for a lot of Party Finder groups, you're going to die a lot here. Once you get a little bit past this, it does get pretty consistent. Like, it's not hard anymore. Just like most mechanics, you do it enough times and it just kind of slows down in your mind. Now, if at any point you messed up, like if you had 1 less person in the stack, you get a damage down and you won't make the damage check. So even if you don't die, if you don't have all the stacks correct, you're not going to have enough damage to beat the boss. Burnished Glory is just a dot. Should be mitigated. And we're almost there. That's a tank buster. I'm not a tank, so I'm not going over that in this video. And then really the last mechanic of the fight are these towers, okay? So the way these towers work as a melee is both melee are going to fill the towers. There's going to be other people that have There's a tower here, and tower here. There's going to be other people. There's always going to be at least one person in a tower, and at least one person is set and never changes. Melee DPS are going to fill. So melee 1, starting north, which is up here, is going to do the first fill. So there's 2 towers here. So since melee 1 is the first fill, they're going to fill this tower. And then we're melee 2 in this example. So the second fill from north is going to be us. So the second tower is already filled because it only has 1. The third tower would be the next fill because it has 3. So we're going to fill the third tower. And the only other thing you have to look at is the boss is going to do lightning, which is a big AoE, or a fire, which is a small AoE into a knockback. If it's a big AoE like this, you can just walk straight into your tower. If it's a knockback because it's fire, then you're going to have to do the same thing earlier and kind of walk in and get knocked back into your tower. It's not hard. We're the second fill. So we just take the tower. And then we go for the kill. The group, this group that I had, the damage was not great. We do get it here, but it's like uncomfortably close. Like I even pop an Enshroud just to get a tiny bit of damage there. And then we go into phase 2, which I will do another video of at some point. I'm still progging this fight, but I thought the sooner I can get these videos out, the better. If this was helpful to you, let me know below. If it wasn't, I don't know why you're here. Bye-bye.